March 28th, 2022, weekend after Santa Clara Pal. Super disappointed in myself because for me it's about self-performance, and I felt great. But my track speed said 1000% the opposite. So anyway, felt like my starts were good. I was getting out, felt great to the 30-foot line, pedaled over the little roller, pedaled the first jump, and shit, I was still 20 bikes behind. Being completely honest with myself, I don't think I would have won intermediate class. Not sure what was going on. My legs were just not turning over. So anyway, not so much back to the drawing board, but I'm putting clips back on. I ran them on Tuesday prior to the national, and I just didn't feel comfortable. It was a little bit too close to the race. Make all the excuses I want. I just, if you're not comfortable, you're not comfortable. So these are the old school DXs, basic Kyle Bennett era. You know, shoes and pedals matched back in the 90s, or not so much the 90s, but mid 2000. These are probably like 2008, 2000, somewhere in there. Not sure, but they're old. So we're going with that. Start from the basics, and then advance into whatever the latest and greatest clips are. Everyone's talking about HT and this, that, and the other. I'll figure out what works for me. So. But definitely a difference between flats and clips, just in terms of your feet's integrity. I have to admit, my feet are old. My right foot, I have a metal rod in it and 5 pins. My left foot has multiple fractures that never had surgery, so it's a lot of scar tissue and a lot of inflammation on some days. And somehow when I put on clips, all those pains in my feet go away. Because I'm not trying to keep my feet on the pedals, you know, they're quote clipped in. So works out well on training rides. I've used these for a number of years on training rides. There's no shortage of usage. Just never felt comfortable racing in them. So we'll see what happens coming up. You know, I think the big switch is coming, the whole, you know, flat pedal Terry MR.T. That's going to be great on my own time, but I'm trying to invest a little more quality into my riding style with today's modern day tracks. And, I just feel these days you either adapt or you find another sport. So I'm going to try to adapt. As a professional, if you can't adapt, then you shouldn't be calling yourself a professional. So there's just little things that go along with what I've been doing and what I'm still continuing to do. So it looks like this will be complete for now. This is my training mountain bike I'll be using for Sea Otter to pedal around. I'm thinking about maybe doing the slalom. This isn't a slalom worthy bike, but hey, I get to ride the course for 65 bucks. What could be better than that? Doesn't matter what bike you have, I just want to ride the course. So on this, I'll just drop the seat all the way down, BMX height. It's already got big bars. It's good enough, you know. So it's got a Fox Air oil shock, old school V-brakes. And in downhill or the slalom, if you're tapping your brakes, you're not going to qualify anyway, so it's not about brakes. So just going to run it old school. But anyway, I think that's about it for now. We will see how these clips work out. These things are pretty worn, so I may be upgrading these to some new ones, just so I have a little more bite. And other than that, I guess it's back to training come Tuesday, which would be March 31st.